Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the work session and special meeting of the Salisbury City Council on December 20th, 2021. We will begin with the work session agenda, and first up is a budget amendment to accept funds from Bless Our Children, and our Housing and Community Development Director, Ron Strickler, is not here.
I think I am Ron this evening.
You are Ron.
So before you
don't look like
is a budget amendment for $4,000 from Draper Holdings. They have contributed to our yearly Housing and Community Development Santa's Workshop program that we held last Thursday, the second year in a row that was on the Main Street. We were able to serve 241 children, which is about 40 more than we did last year, which was more than we've ever done before. So they were really pleased with that. So we're very grateful for this donation and looking forward to hopefully partnering again in the future. So this would just go to offset those costs.
Great, thank you. Questions or comments?
They've consistently, year after year, supported this, and very much appreciative of it.
Yep. I can't wait for the time when we can go back to Truett Street and do it inside and have the kids sit around and sit on Santa's lap and like, maybe next year, hopefully. I think we're okay. I thought it might be my...
The whole system. It was
The
done.
whole
They
thing.
did it last week, too. So.
Did it? Okay. Speak. Oh. We have a little technical.
Hear that?
That was you.
I do. I'm just making sure, if anyone's on Zoom, make sure you're muted.
This one?
No. Does that need to be, I don't know. I don't know if he usually has that muted or not. Because we need to get the audio to the people on Zoom through
Right.
through there.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll try again. I'll back up. There you go. Is that all right? Okay. Next up, we have a budget ordinance to reallocate Main Street Fire Service revenues, and Department of Infrastructure and Development Director, Amanda Pollock.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good to see you.
Good to see you. So this budget amendment is for the fire services on Main Street. When we did the Main Street Master Plan project, we gave the property owners an option to install a fire service if they didn't have one already. But because that was an extra, they had to reimburse us for those. So we went ahead and paid the general contractor to keep the project moving. So we've been getting reimbursements. So the total amount billed for fire services was $55,856.35. And to date, we have received $45,456.35. The remaining money is in a collection plan with that property owner, so we will be getting it, but it'll take probably about another year. So we wanted to go ahead and do the budget amendment now for the money that we have, because it is part of our St. Peter Street work, which is the last block of the Main Street Master Plan. So there's a little bit of an odd nuance to this budget amendment that I wanted to explain. So the funding came from a bond account, which was in the general fund. So we would like the money to go back there. When the revenues came in, because it was a fire service, it went into water sewer revenue. So that's why it's a little bit longer of it's from this account to this account. We have to make an amendment to the general fund budget as well as the water and sewer fund budget. So that is explained in the memo. Thank you to the finance director. So.
Gotcha. Okay, questions or comments? Do we have consensus to move it forward? Yes. All right. Amanda, that's one down. Next one is a budget ordinance for FY20 MDOT paving reimbursement.
So we have a program through the state where we get reimbursed for paving. We've received 2 payments from FY20 reimbursements. And the first one came in July of this year, and it was almost $32,000. And then we just received the second payment that was almost $104,000 just in November. So we knew that they were coming in. We thought they would be coming in a little bit closer together, so I purposefully waited to do them together. But because the one came in July, Finance actually applied that to FY21. So again, when you look at the budget ordinance, you're seeing that some of it is getting transferred from surplus and some of it transferred from MDOT reimbursements, and that's why. The
Gotcha.
first payment was assigned already in FY '21, so it's coming out of surplus, but it is funds we received from MDOT for this. The other one is currently in the MDOT revenue account. So we have typically, when we get these reimbursements, put it back in the street maintenance account and put it right back to work in the city. So that is, again, what our intent is this year, is to use this for paving.
Okay. Well, the important thing is we get our money from MDOT.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. Questions or comments from the council? Do we have consensus to move this forward, I assume? Okay. Thank you, Amanda. Have a great holiday. Next up, we have a resolution regarding Mitchell Landing, and City Administrator Julie Glanz will walk us through that one.
Yes, good evening, council. Before you is the LDA and resolution for Mitchell Landing to sell that property and get that off the city's book of business, so to speak. As you remember, we awarded this to Green Street Housing and Wycomico Housing Authority. Charlie from Green Street is here if you have any questions for him. But before you, it is an agreement with River Mitch, which is the LLC formed by Green Street Housing and Wycomico Housing Authority, which touches on all of the items that you saw in their proposal. And we worked diligently to get this done in time for them to meet a deadline to go to the state, I think.
Yes, that's correct.
So if there's any specific questions, I know Ashley is more familiar with the document, and Charlie. You can if you want.
You can come up, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I'm here to answer any specific questions you might have. I will say that the LDA, what Julie had referenced earlier, the LDA is necessary for us to submit a piece of our application submittal financing to CDA, which we are targeting for the second week of January.
Second week of January?
Yeah, to submit that to the state.
And so your process is about a year-long process, and we would formally close in the early winter of next January, 23?
23, yeah, that's correct. So this is going to be part of a bond. It's called a risk share bond. And in the process, once that application submittal does go to CDA, it is about a year. It does take about a full 12-month cycle. So I think conservatively, we're targeting that closing for the first quarter of 2023.
What happens to the management and the running of Mitchell Landing during this period?
In the meantime, it remains the same. The city will work with Severn
Yeah, it's separate.
and work through all the day-to-day operations with them. And then it'll be up to Green Street or River Bench after that.
During this period, this 1 year period, I think maybe on a bi-monthly or something basis, just give us like an update of what's going on so that we make sure that we have our hands on this while it's still ours.
Yeah, no
To
problem.
make sure there's no problems.
Sure.
Okay?
And Charlie, just one quick question.
Sure.
Is this is, if I remember correctly, a non-competitive cycle?
Yes. This is, right, so this is part of the 4% low-income housing tax credit, so it's non-competitive. It's
Right.
on a revolving basis.
Meaning it's not competing against other projects in the state?
No, it is not competing
It's a standalone.
Right. This is it could be part of for efficiency reasons with the CDA, there could be other projects as part of the bond issuance.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it is what we deem non-competitive 4% low-income housing tax credits. So yeah, it's, I think CDA is familiar with the deal, and they're looking forward to receiving our application.
Great. Questions or comments?
Will you keep us, like you said, updated with any information?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
agenda.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it'd be our pleasure.
Okay. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We have questions or comments? Consensus to move it forward?
Yes.
Okay. Next up, we have Marine Road Annexation Introduction. Ms. Glanz, you're up again.
So before you is a general introduction letter to the annexation process for the Marine Road property. This is specifically property identified as map 38, parcel 12, which you are all familiar. We have a cell tower there now near the wastewater treatment plant. And we are looking to annex that into the city of Salisbury with a future project being known as a Community Transition Assistance Center in line with our Here is Home project and policy. So we're looking at a project that would house approximately 25 individuals there, supported by showers, bathrooms, gathering space, etc. And so this evening, I am looking for consensus to move this process forward to the Planning Commission.
Okay. What's the total acreage on that, do you know?
It is 2.44 acres, more or less.
2.44 acres.
Plus Julia, the
There's
second
two,
parcel.
there's two parcels.
Yes, the other one is 6 acres.
Oh,
So
okay,
total
that
of-
that makes more sense. It seems like
Oh, 6,
Over.
yeah. no,
Yep.
sorry.
8.44 acres.
8.4.
I did that in my.
Very good.
Did that in my.
Mr. Mayor, you can stay and be our mathematician.
Still prefer Keith, but
You get what you pay for.
Yeah, where's Keith,
I'm cheap.
when you need him?
I'm cheaper.
Okay.
so
Yes.
we're annexing both properties, and were we able to look around, and do we know if there's anything else hanging out there that's city-owned but in the county?
Oh, city-owned but not annexed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've come up with that list.
Okay.
We can.
In the entirety of?
Well, I think we had briefly discussed that, were there any more properties similar to this that were in the county, but this, for some reason, the city owned them?
We should know that.
Yeah, we should.
It's strange. It's a strange.
Yeah.
And I think we'd either want to divest of them or annex it.
Or get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said, the point you make is a good one about looking around. Because in our looking around, we have found another candidate property for what we're calling Community Transition Assistance Centers, or CTACs, which is just a term that's trying to describe the transitional housing objectives and transitional nature of the tiny homes. So trying to stabilize the population that is experiencing chronic homelessness through a specific set of guidelines around what would be developed and what would be allowable. That being said, the other sites that have been, or the other site that's been identified, the city owns as well. It's next to the Christian shelter. So it's an option. It's close walking distance proximity to services that the homeless population currently has access to. So, resource dependent and needs dependent, we might be able to do more than one of these over time. I think we'd all love to be able to eliminate chronic homelessness in our community. That isn't to suggest we can do both simultaneously. Just bringing that to your attention. I still think no matter what, we want to annex this property. We want it to be zoned industrial. We want industrial zone ultimately to allow for this type of thing, but we want it to be zoned industrial. So whether or not this is the site that gets built out now, we do want to annex it. We do want it to be zoned industrial, which is its current zoning, correct, Amanda? That's current zoning, okay, in the county. And we want that zoning to exist in the city as well. So either way, we want to move forward.
Great, thank you. Questions or comments from the council? Consensus? We have consensus to move it forward, Mrs. Nichols. Great. Okay, that takes care of the work session agenda. And what I'd like to do now, before we go into the special meeting, is have have remarks for the good of the order from the administration?
I'll just say thank you for the things that were approved tonight, and then also, as our last meeting, unless you call a special meeting on the 27th and drag us all in here again, Jack. We'll do what you say, but no, I just want to say thank you for a year in which you all had to step up because of COVID. You had to step up through lots of challenges, and a portion of which I wasn't here with you. And so I just want to say I appreciate you and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
One other additional thing, Mr. President. Jeannie Lloyd is retiring at the end of the year. I think we referenced Ben Baker's tenure at the last meeting, but she has been with us, I think, for about 12 years, so we're going to miss her, and we're able to celebrate her last week. And Judy Bennett, who has ensured that all of us get paid every 2 weeks, is retiring after 31 and a half
Wow.
years. So quite a tremendous tenure with us, so wish them both well.
Great, thank you very much. Mr. Boda?
Well, great to have the mayor with us this Christmas. I know the girls and family are all excited for him to be home. And again, thank everybody for everything this year, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And hopefully we'll see everybody at the New Year's Eve event downtown. So.
April?
I don't really have much to say today, but I thank each and every one of you for standing tall, standing in place and doing what we need to do to push this city forward. Great to have the mayor back here this year. Julia, you did a phenomenal job. Happy to give it to you. The whole city, employees and administrators, did a wonderful job this year. And proud of each other. We should be proud of each other. We should give each other a hand. We should give each other a pat on the back and everything, because we've had a couple of rough years with COVID. So I think we've done phenomenal, and we will do even better going forward. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, Happy Kwanzaa, Feliz Navidad, and all the rest, and a prosperous New Year.
I didn't know you spoke Spanish. Michelle?
You want to hear something else?
No. I'm sorry, Michelle.
How am I supposed to follow that? I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday. Please be safe if you're traveling. Drive carefully. And, it's been a rocky couple of years, like everybody else has said. And I'm very grateful for everybody here. And, Happy New Year, and hopefully going into the new year will be better.
Thank you, Michelle.
Jack, can I say something about you? You've been very good to work with. Seriously. You have been very well to work with. You don't find too many presidents of a council. Very pleasant, but you've been there.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Here, here.
I'm gonna let you know, I'm gonna give you a pat on.
You're not getting any more bark.
By the way, word to the wise, do not eat the entire box in one sitting.
He's talking.
Don't ask me how I am.
I'll be brief. I do have one regret this year, and that was, as most of you probably know, that I don't miss many meetings. And last week, I did miss a meeting only because I was in the hospital with pneumonia. And I regret the fact that I couldn't put my vote and have my vote entered for the tiny homes. It is a very important piece of the transitional puzzle that we need to do to get to end chronic homelessness in our city. Having said that, that's probably one of the only regrets that I have this year. I'm proud of what we've done. I'm proud of how we've conducted business, which was one of my main things when I got elected. And I also want to take the time to acknowledge a team that includes everybody who works for the city for the job they've done and they continue to do. You don't become a millionaire by working for the city, but it is truly appreciated what everyone does for the city. And some of you are sitting in this room and deserve our applause, and we applaud you. In addition, I would like to welcome Ashley to our table. Ashley will be with us now for the duration, hopefully.
Yes, happy to be
Okay,
here.
Ashley, good. Good. You do have a challenge because Michael used to read an entire ordinance with one breath. But I think you
pretty good
can.
last
I
week.
You
think
missed
you
the
did
last
all right.
meeting.
I think you did.
She got it right.
She's got
She
it?
got it right.
All right.
You missed two things.
Okay, I missed two things. And finally, a blessed and joyful holiday season for everyone, and God bless you all. With that, we will go into the special meeting, and I'd like to call the special meeting to order, and I will I'll entertain a motion to approve the legislative agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Jackson, Mr. Boda. All those in favor to adopt the legislative agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. Legislative agenda is approved by a vote of 4-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number 3141.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Boda, Mrs. Gregory. Ms. Glanz.
Good evening, council. Resolution number 3141, a resolution of the council of the city of Salisbury to authorize the mayor to enter into, on behalf of the city of Salisbury, a land disposition agreement with River Mitch LLC, setting forth the terms and conditions governing the sale of the Mitchell Landing apartment complex. Whereas the mayor and the council of the city of Salisbury determine there is surplus property owned by the city of Salisbury that should be sold. Whereas the city is the owner of all that certain real property identified as map 0106, parcel 1116, having a premise address of 135 Mitchell Road, Salisbury, Maryland 21801, and consisting of 2.68 acres more or less, being that same property conveyed by Salisbury Brick Company Incorporated to the city by deed dated October 22, 1983, and recorded among the land records of the Wycomico County, Maryland in Lieber 1023, folio 0046, and all the improvements located thereon. Whereas the property is improved by 4 two-story buildings, each of which contains 6 apartment units comprised of 4 3-bedroom units and 2 2-bedroom units, and one one-story multipurpose building at which the management office, laundry room, and community center are located to serve the residents of the apartments. Whereas since its development, the Mitchell Landing apartment complex has provided quality, affordable housing for household of lower income in accordance with the provisions governing the state of Maryland Partnership Rental Housing Program administered by the Department of Housing and Community Development of the state of Maryland. And whereas on August 26, 2021, the city declared the Mitchell Landing apartment complex surplus property. Whereas pursuant to 16-18 of the Salisbury City Charter, the Chapter 2.36 of the Salisbury City Code, the city has the right to offer at public sale property declared surplus and to make award thereof in the best interest of the city, whereas the city sought proposals from qualified applicants to purchase and operate Mitchell Landing apartment complex subject to all valid and existing lease agreements, whereas the term qualified applicant is defined as a party that is an eligible borrower within the meaning of that term under Comar 05.05.05.04 and/or Comar 05.05.05.05 respectively, and meets the requirements governing DHCD approval of an application for a partnership project set forth in MD Code Housing and Community Development 4-1207. Whereas the city has determined River Mitch LLC is a qualified applicant and that the sale of Mitchell Landing Apartment Complex to River Mitch LLC is in the best interest of the city, of the citizens of the city, because River Mitch LLC will continue to operate Mitchell Landing Apartment Complex. And whereas by this resolution, the council hereby authorizes the land disposition agreement authorizing the sale of Mitchell Landing Apartment Complex to River Mitch LLC, and hereby authorizes the mayor's execution thereof on behalf of the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Glanz. Questions or comments?
Now, the mayor having a discussion a couple of weeks ago about surplus. How much is this property going for?
$0 to the city.
Okay.
It's just settling the debt with the state. We don't benefit from
Okay.
it.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
Thank you.
And it speaks to that question from the last time we discussed this topic, is it does have value. It just doesn't have value to us. And
Well,
the state made it possible ultimately.
if,
That's why they're the beneficiary in the end.
okay.
Okay, since I hear no other questions, I'll call the motion. All those in favor of resolution number 3141, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. Resolution 3141 is approved by a vote of 4-0. I'll entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 2701 for the second reading.
Second.
Ms. Jackson, Mr. Boda. Ms. Bosch.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ordinance number 2701, an ordinance of the City of Salisbury authorizing the mayor to appropriate funds in the fiscal year 2022 general fund budget, general capital projects fund budget, and the FY22 water sewer fund budget. Whereas the City of Salisbury recently determined that there is a return of over $3 million into surplus FY 2020, and whereas during the course of the past few months, the city administration has been assessing urgent needs and opportunities that should be funded, and whereas the appropriations below as provided here and above must be made upon the recommendation of the mayor and the approval of 4/5 of the council of the City of Salisbury. Now therefore be it enacted and ordained by the council of the City of Salisbury, Maryland as follows. Section 1, the City of Salisbury's FY22 general fund budget be and hereby is amended as follows. All of that was read into the record at the last meeting. Section 2, the City of Salisbury general capital fund budget be and hereby is amended as follows. And those monies were read into the record at the last meeting. Section 3, the City of Salisbury's FY 2022 water sewer fund budget be and hereby is amended as follows. And again, that was read into the record at the last meeting. So be it further enacted and ordained by the Council of the City of Salisbury, Maryland as follows. We have section 4, 5, 6, and 7 are our general legalese for passing ordinances.
Thank you, Ms. Bosch. Questions or comments? Mr. Mayor?
May I make one?
Sure.
There's one change that is needed, and this is with respect to the community center line. And it's just the reality of the costs of doing the renovation there. As costs have risen, that we won't be able to make it work for the additional funding that we've put in. This is Truett Street Community Center, so this is the expansion of Truett Street. So in the amount of $150,000, we need to increase that line. We've looked at this today. We do have more than enough to make that possible. But the industry's response to the amount of money we have, we won't get anything. We won't be able to build it. So with that, we'd need an amendment, and I think Ms. Gregory.
I would like to make a motion to amend ordinance number 2701, section 2, to increase the revenue in account 98022469313, transfer in general fund by $150,000 from its current $1,675,000 to $1,825,000.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Gregory to increase the amount as read. Do we have a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Jackson. Any questions or comments on the motion? We'll vote on the amendment first. So all those in favor of the amendment read by Mrs. Gregory, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. The amendment is passed by a vote of 4-0. I'll now call the main motion. All those in favor of ordinance number 2701 for the second reading, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The chair votes aye. Ordinance number 2701 for the second reading is approved by a vote of 4-0. Thank you, Ms. Bosch. All right, if there is no other business, do we have any requests for comments? Mrs. Nichols?
No.
No. Okay, hearing that we have no other comments, I think we are finished and we will adjourn. Thank you, everyone, for coming.